Max Scherzer, he finally locked in and turned in maybe his best start of 2023, and in the process, he might have broken the Angels. I mean, that guy, yeah, Phil Nevin, the manager, was going crazy. Staying with Max Scherzer, apparently he and JV, Justin Verlander, had some beef, not only on the Tigers, but recently on the Mets as well. JV, he responded to being called a diva of all things, and the Braves offense, they're on pace to shatter an MLB record, and it's just completely unfair what they've been doing. Real quick, before we get into today's recap, a reminder, if you guys are going to any baseball games or concerts anytime soon, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save 20 bucks off. And without further ado, let's get into the recap. Check out this insane update on MLB attendance. We have 9 weekends on the season already of 1.5 million people going to baseball games. The last 4 full seasons combined, we had 5 total weekends of 1.5 million people going to baseball games. So baseball, a lot of people were saying it was dying and everything like that. No, baseball is booming. All right, the first game from yesterday, the Mariners were taking on the Royals in Kansas City, and we had a wild and wacky start to this game. Well, I guess the wackiness came after this 3-run moonshot from Salvador Perez. He opened the floodgates. Like, that ball had a family, and bro just casually hit it 430 feet. Salvi, by the way, is one of 10 catchers with 250 plus doubles and 240 plus home runs. Just defensively, he's so bad at framing. That's why he probably won't make the Hall of Fame. Bobby Witt Jr., I mean, he's not a catcher, but he's going to be in that club in no time with probably 200 plus stolen bases along with it. His inside the park home run clocked in at 14.3 seconds. That's the fastest inside the park home run since 2017. And also check this out. Not only is he top 1% in speed, he's also top 1% in defense. He has 22 home runs, 34 stolen bases, and 14 outs above average defensively. All right, back to the game. Enough fanboying over Bobby Witt Jr. Seattle, they made a ferocious comeback later on. J-Rod, the other 5-tool superstar in this game, he cleared the bases on a double in the 8th. Suarez, he backed that up with an RBI single, and then so did Josh Rojas, the newcomer. It's knotted up at 5-5 when J-Rod clutched up again. A massive 4 RBI night. All the Mariners have to do is not allow Salvi to lift the ball, and they did exactly that. His sac fly set up this opportunity for Darren Blanco. That is a walk-off bunt. How many times have you heard me say that? Probably never. Yeah, the Royals, they walk off the Mariners 7-6 on a walk-off bunt. We love small ball here. The Astros were taking on the Marlins in Miami, and John Birdie, he had a field day versus Framber Valdez and the Astros. He doubled in Nick Fortes, and then he scored on a pass ball. Speed kills, or at the very least, it distracts. Braxton Garrett, he was pretty solid again for the Marlins. He went 5 shutout. He has a 3.9 ERA on the season, and he only has a 3.9 because he once allowed 11 runs back on May 3rd. So he's actually been pretty steady aside from that one implosion. Houston, they finally got on the board with an RBI double, but Jorge Soler, he was charging up his solar power. I see what I did. Sorry. He's up to 29 home runs. That's his second most in a season since he had 48 back in 2019 when the balls were juiced. Luis Ariz, he then made it back-to-back home runs, make it back-to-back. Josh Bell, he has been a terror for the Marlins. He's up to 5 home runs and 10 RBIs with a stupid .404 on base percentage in 12 games as a Marlin. Yeah, Miami, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. That's a really good team that they just beat in the Astros. Here we go, the Mets and the Pirates. Francisco Lindor made a bit of Mets history. We'll talk about that in just a second. Pete Alonso and Daniel Vogelbach, they kickstarted the scoring with some runs in the first 2 frames. Vogelbach, he went 411 feet on that solo home run after Pete's double. I will give the Pirates some credit. They fought back to tie it, but New York, they pretty much took over from there. Jeff McNeil, he knocked in Lindor right before Jonathan Arauz connected on a 2-run home run. Lindor, he got on again in the 5th inning on his 26th double, and then he stole his 20th bag. He is one of 5 players in baseball this year in the 2020 club, and he's playing platinum defense all over again. He's the first Met since 2008 to be in the 2020 club. Brandon Nimmo, he hit his 16th home run. The Mets, out of nowhere, have won 2 games in a row. So because we talked about the Astros, Justin Verlander's new team, and we just talked about the Mets, Justin Verlander's former team, it only makes sense to talk about this little beef between Mad Max and Justin Verlander. Apparently, there was a staff member involved as well. JV, he was called a diva. The fact that he was critical of the analytics department in New York and saying that they were not as good as the Astros analytical department. Scherzer didn't like that. A staff member also did not like that, but JV responded saying he was just simply trying to help the team win. I mean, when you're a multi-time Cy Young winner and a future Hall of Famer, I'd probably listen to that guy. But let me know whose side you're on. Now we're going to talk about Mad Max and his new team, the Rangers. They were taking on the Angels. Texas, they got off to a roaring start as Marcus Semien played a 2 on a single. The dude had 5 RBI, so stay tuned. Actually, wait, here's his 3rd RBI, a base-hit walk from Patrick Sandoval, who has easily been a top 5 most disappointing pitcher in baseball this year. He has a near 4.1 ERA. The strikeouts fallen off a cliff. The walks, they've soared. Mitch Garver, he stays raking. He had an RBI double. It was 6-0 Texas after 6, and yes, yes, it does get worse. Marcus Semien, he yanked a 3-run home run. It's crazy how far he's come because he was terrible. The worst player in baseball to begin his career as a Ranger, but over his last 162 games, he's hitting .285 with 42 doubles, 27 home runs, 17 stolen bases, and amazing defense. Adolis Garcia, he cracked one out as well. He's up in the 30 home run club. He's got 90 RBIs, pretty good defense in the outfield. And yes, Max Scherzer, he was dominant. He struck out 11 Angels over 7 innings. He only allowed 1 base hit the entire game. He's 3-0 with a 1.8 ERA as a member of the Rangers, and in the process, he broke the Angels. He broke their manager, Phil Nevin. He told the Angels to get their you-know-what out of their you-know-what. Yeah, bad things are happening in Anaheim, and I just feel bad for that fan base, man. It's terrible. So you know how we talked about the Mets winning 2 games in a row? You know who has not won 2 in a row? The other New York team, the Yankees. In fact, after this game, I mean, it's not even really a game. This one resembled more of like a monster truck rally, and the Braves were the monster trucks. New York, I don't know if their season's done, but they just don't look competitive. Austin Riley is 1 home run away from the 30 home run club. That was his 29th. The newcomer, Nicky Lopez, has been prime Babe Ruth as a member of the Braves. He drove in 5 RBIs in his first game and then threw a shutout inning against the Mets when they won 21-0 or something like that. He popped off again. That 2-run single started a massive rally off of Clark Schmidt. 4 separate RBI singles happened after that. By the way, starting pitcher Clark Schmidt, he's from Atlanta. His entire family was in attendance, so the Braves said, hey, you're the hometown kid. Cool, that's awesome, cute. We're not going to show any mercy. Michael Harris had an RBI single. Rosario and Arcia plated some. And look who was at it again, Nicky Lopez. He had 13 RBIs in 68 games as a Royal. He has 8 RBIs in 4 games as a Brave, and he's only started 2 of those games. There's some voodoo sorcery going on in Atlanta. I don't like it. Max Fried, he was Max Fried. He has a 2.57 ERA on the season. Eddie Rosario, he belted a 2-run home run to finish it. The Braves as a team are slugging .503. If that sounds crazy, it's because that would be an MLB record. And for the month of August, they're scoring almost 8 runs a game. They're hitting .313 as a team with a collective .945 OPS. Just, again, sorcery down in Atlanta. Do our eyes deceive us? Did Esteury Ruiz just go yard? That's his 2nd home run of the season. I mean, yeah, that's cool considering he also has 46 stolen bases. Now, Goldie did answer with a 2-run blast of his own, putting the Cardinals up by 1. Never mind, Zach Geloff is insane. This kid will not stop hitting RBI extra base hits. He has 18 extra base hits and 14 RBIs in 26 games. Oakland, they went up 2 after a Seth Brown single. And staying with Seth Brown, after Lars Nootbaar walked with the bases loaded to set up a chance for Jordan Walker, Brown, he made a nice running grab to save. No, he did not. I lied. That's an RBI triple, a multi-RBI triple. Some might be asking why that was labeled a hit. I mean, that was not an error because it only had a 20% catch probability. The fact that Seth Brown even got there is pretty impressive. So yeah, that was called a base hit. And I don't know what the future holds for the St. Louis Cardinals, but I still really like their offensive pieces. And they have a kid named Mason Wynn coming up. He's going to be a star shortstop. So yeah, if the Cardinals can get some pitching, I like them in 2024. Now, I'm not saying this is a must-win game for Arizona, but it's kind of a must-win game for Arizona. They're trying to win their 3rd game in a row. They're facing the lowly Rockies, and it started off nice as Christian Walker, he's up to 34 doubles, so that's 1 RBI extra base hit. He's going to make it 2 after this home run from Elias Montero. There's Walker's 3-run tater. He's 6th in all of Major League Baseball in extra base hits. He's ahead of guys like Ronald Acuna Jr. and Rafael Devers, and he won a Gold Glove last year. He's actually super underrated still to this day. Arizona, they went up 4-1 when rookie Ezequiel Tovar, he belted his 13th home run. He also has an insane 9 outs above average defensively. He's still just 22 years old. The Diamondbacks are holding on for dear life, and that sucks. Brendan Rodgers, he crushed Arizona fans with a 2-run single. That ties it at 4 apiece. My friend Nolan Jones completed the comeback. It's 5-4 Rockies, make it 6-4 Alan Trejo. He knocked in the game's final run. Closing pitcher Justin Lawrence, he dominated the Snakes in the 9th inning. He struck out all 3 hitters, and yeah, he's got 10 saves on the year. The Diamondbacks, they're so good, but also they haven't been playing well at all. The same can be said about the Padres, and they were taking on the Orioles. Ryan O'Hearn, he's been so good this year. That's his 10th home run of the season. He's still hitting .295 on the year. Gunnar Henderson, he won't stop raking either. He shot one down the left field line to clear the bases in the 5th inning. He has 41 extra base hits and a near 120 WRC plus as a rookie. He's already top 5% in hard hit percentage, so he absolutely deletes the baseball when he puts it in play. Now, before we talk about rookie starting pitcher Grayson Rodriguez, I got to show you Darvish making some some history. He struck out Ramon Urias in the 6th inning. He now has 1,919 strikeouts. He passes Hideo Nomo for the most strikeouts ever by a Japanese-born player, and Hideo Nomo was actually in attendance to watch that record get broken. The game was over, though, as Baltimore rookie starting pitcher Grayson Rodriguez, he put the Padres in a blender, easily his best start as a big leaguer. He struck out 6 Padres over 7 innings, and one of the bigger reasons why he was so successful, he only walked 1 and allowed just 3 base hits the entire game. It cannot be fun to face 6'5" Grayson Rodriguez, who throws 101, and then 6'8" Felix Bautista, who throws 102. He's up to 32 saves. The Orioles beat the Padres 4-1. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show this guy's name because I'm 100% going to botch it. Oslevius Bazabe, I'm so sorry, but he is the Wander Franco replacement until Wander and his investigation is over. He knocked in 2 on that single, and then Yandy Diaz, he doubled in Basabe, and the Tampa Bay offense, they had a full-blown schoolyard field day against the Giants. 2 more RBI singles made it 5-0 for Tyler Glasnow, who's been prime Tyler Glasnow over the last 2 months. He struck out 7 over 6. He has 70 strikeouts over his last 49 innings, and he has a tiny 2.01 ERA and a 2.28 FIP. He's been the best starting pitcher in the AL over the last 2 months, and I'm super happy that he's back and healthy. Tampa Bay, they ran it up to 10 runs after a Christian Bethancourt home run. There was a few other RBI base hits. They got a triple from Harold Ramirez, and then the 10th run, yeah, that scored on a wild pitch. The Giants, I don't know if they're a good team. Like, they are, but they're also not as of late. But the same can be said about the Padres, as well as who's the other team? The Diamondbacks. They're just kind of scuffling, and they're all in the same division. So because we just talked about divisions, the only thing that changed in the division standings, because the Rangers won and the Astros lost. The Astros are back to 3.5 games back. In the Central, the Brewers have won 4 games in a row, so they're 3.5 games ahead of the Cubs and the Reds. And then in the NL West, there's nothing to talk about. The Dodgers have won 8 in a row. They're going to run away with that division. But in the wild card, the Mariners have now lost 3 games in a row after winning a bunch of games in a row. They're 2 games back of the Jays for that final wild card spot with the Red Sox. They're 3 games back, and the Yankees 5.5 games back, and the Angels are 7 games back. In the National League, we have the Phillies and the Giants as the first 2 teams in the wild card. The Marlins are ahead of the Cubs and the Reds by 1 game. And you have the Diamondbacks at 3.5 games back, the Padres at 6.5 games back, and technically, maybe the Mets are still in it. They've won 2 in a row. They're 8.5 games back. I don't know. Can they make a comeback? Probably not, but that would be a lot of fun to watch. All right, we're going to try and speed run today's immaculate grid. So we have the A's and the Rangers. I'm going to go Chris Davis. He was in the Elvis Andrus trade, I think, where the Rangers got Jonah Heim. Jonah Heim, yes, was a member of the A's. The Orioles and the Rangers, I'm going to go Nelson Cruz. I only know that because he has a rookie Orioles card in MLB The Show. Nelson Cruz. A Silver Slugger with the Rangers. I could go Josh Hamilton, but I'm going to go Juan Gonzalez. The A's and the Blue Jays. Donaldson, who was in that trade? I'm going to go Brett Lowry to help out my rarity score. I really liked him back in the day because he had a cool swing and a ton of tattoos. The Blue Jays and the Orioles, absolutely no one's coming to my head. The Blue Jays, Silver Slugger, I'm going to go Carlos Delgado. Shout out to Jolly Olive. He mentioned that a few times in his video about Delgado. 3,000 plus hits for the... I'm only going to go with Ricky Henderson because no one else... My rarity score got ruined on that one. 3,000 plus hits for the Orioles. I could go Ripken, but I'm going to go Murray. I know Eddie Murray had a bunch. Steady Eddie. 3,000 plus hits and a Silver Slugger. Ichiro. I'm just going to go with an easy one. Ichiro, I'm actually doing super well. An Oriole and Blue Jay. Oriole and Blue Jay. Oriole and Blue Jay. The BR God. What was that guy's name? Freddie? I don't know his last name. Freddie Garcia? Was it? Oh no, Freddie Galvis. That was fast. I feel like that was one of my better rounds ever, and it's still just a 173 rarity score. How are some of you getting 20 rarity score? You guys have to be cheating. Like, there's no way you're not looking at players before you actually do this if you're getting 20 or something crazy like that. Like, you're cheating. That's going to do it for today's recap. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. 4 years ago today, I do want to show one more clip. Bryce Harper, he broke the internet with this walk-off grand slam.
2 on the way. Swung on, hit high.